It's not clickbait. I really did switch back to the iPhone 10. Okay, so why? Why did I do any of that? Well, if you've been around here since last year, then you may remember I used to talk about the iPhone 10 quite a lot. In fact, I would repeatedly say it was the phone I was sticking with as I didn't really need anything else. But inevitably, for my daily driver, I did end up upgrading to the iPhone 12. I used that for a few months, then accidentally broke it because I'm an idiot. I am in the process of getting that fixed. But shortly before I broke it, I actually did make a video talking about how I had plans to not use it anymore. I planned to sell it and look for something else to be my daily driver. So, how and why did I end up back on this? Let's talk about that. Okay, so the first thing that I really liked about the iPhone 10 that I was kind of struggling with on the iPhone 12 was the size. I've said it before and I will probably say it again, but I personally find 6.1 inches to be a little bit too big for a phone screen. And I've also said that 5.8 inches is almost perfect. I like this screen size. I think it's big enough to the point where I can comfortably use it to watch videos, but it's not so big that I A, struggle to hold it, or B, struggle to fit it in my pocket. Now, of course, there are other 5.8 inch iPhones, and I may not stick with the iPhone 10, I might go to the 10s. Probably won't go to the iPhone 11 Pro though, which I'll explain why in a minute. But the overall size of the 10 line of iPhones is probably perfect for me. It's just right. Next up, we got the body, and while I really do like the design of the iPhone 12 line, personally, I just kind of prefer the previous designs. While I do now usually keep a case on my phone, I've learnt my lesson from several broken phones. Honestly, I just prefer the curved edge of the iPhone 10. What's more, I like the look of the camera more. Honestly, that's always been the case, including with the iPhone 11 line, the wind. And while I kind of get the case for this on the iPhone 11 and 12 Pro, realistically, I prefer the look of the 10 line to the 11 and 12 line when it comes to the dual camera systems. I've also historically said that I prefer 3D touch, and honestly, that's still true. While I don't think haptic touch is necessarily bad, in fact, I've definitely got used to it over my time with the iPhone 12. Coming back to 3D touch is just really nice. I mean, I'm aware that iOS 13 basically nuked it, but still, on principle, it's a cooler technology. Who doesn't like that? Alright, so next up, we're going to be talking about the camera, and this is where things might get a little bit controversial. Holy crap, I really need a new GorillaPod. You seen the size of this thing? This is the one I use in my studio. It's currently raining, so I've stepped inside, but I've left my tripod outside, so I need to go get that. Yeah, contrary to popular belief, my studio is not a room in my house. It's just an old shed I've filled with overpriced insulation and underpriced fairy lights. Do it look like I need a shed with stuff in it? Back to the video on this tech channel. Does BubVisuals really deserve to be called a tech channel? I don't even know at this point. So the next thing I prefer about the iPhone 10 over the iPhone 12 that I was previously using before I broke is the camera. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a controversial one, seeing as the camera system on the iPhone 12 is objectively significantly better. I mean, it's got lots of new technology since this. It's still got two cameras. It's got two cameras that people objectively prefer, and it's just overall a better camera system. But I really don't need all the ultimate computing power that is on the new iPhones. And I also, as I have repeatedly banged on about on this channel, much prefer the telephoto angle to the ultra-wide angle. I personally really don't have much use for the ultra-wide angles, because while I do like taking landscape photos, I do, bar a couple of occasions, actually prefer the look of the wide angle to the ultra-wide. So the focal lengths on the iPhone 10 just make more sense for my use case. But why don't I just use the 11 or 12 Pro? Good point. I should have kept the iPhone 11 Pro instead of deciding to keep the iPhone 12. That was a big mistake. I personally much preferred the iPhone 11 Pro to the iPhone 12. But still, even that seems kind of overkill. As I said, I really don't ever use the ultra-wide lens. I don't really need all the new technology either, and while some things like night mode would be nice, I already have a handful of apps that can get me pretty close, not exactly, but pretty close to what I can get on the native night mode. I also really don't do all that much filming with this phone because I have this big camera here, and in the event where I would want to use this phone for some filming, I'm generally not too fussed about quality, so overall, I kind of prefer the previous camera system, at least when it comes down to my preferences. The final reason as to why I switched back to the iPhone 10 is to kind of prove a point. Realistically, as I bang on about in my videos all the time, realistically, you don't need the newest phone every year. Realistically, for me, something like this, maybe the iPhone XS, I haven't quite decided yet. In fact, it's almost perfect. As I said, there are a lot of things that I prefer about the iPhone 10 line to the 11 or 12 line. But if I am constantly to bang on about how you don't need the newest phone and I'm walking around with an iPhone 12 Pro, seems kind of redundant for me to be making that point. And for a while I certainly genuinely believed that I did need a newer phone, and while I probably did, I mean, I don't necessarily want to upgrade every year either. It means just changing all of your accessories, because that's the one thing they do change every year. To quote a 2016 Casey Neistat video, the newest phone is kind of like the thing you'd pull out your pocket at your hipster coffee shop and show to all your friends. Look at me! I got the new one! And while I don't want this to be taken as a slight to people who do just buy the newest phone, I personally think there are a lot of people who the highest end phones are probably the best option. For example, I have a friend who lives in Canada, and when it was the top end phone, he bought the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I'm pretty sure it was the Max. Don't quote me on that. And this person is like me, loves photography. However, they don't have a high-end photo camera like I do. And if you are also really into photography, investing in a camera system, buying glass, all that sort of stuff, if that doesn't sound appealing to you, I think there is a solid argument for buying the newest phone. But for me, there really isn't. Going back to what I was originally saying, it's not only wasteful to your wallet, but e-waste is a whole different topic that I am not going to be talking about in this video because it would take much too long. I think one of my goals for this channel is to make technology more sustainable. Realistically, I love tech. I love a lot of the phones that are coming out, but that doesn't mean I have to own one. It's like a Picasso painting. Nice to look at, but I don't really need one. Something like this suits me just fine. So yeah, it's nice to be back on this thing. You know, all this talk of phones has kind of made me want a coffee. That was a cortado. Pretty sure they're Portuguese. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorites. Alright guys, so that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I'm sorry this video was supposed to be out on Saturday, but I got sick, so this was the earliest I could get it done. Let me know, by the way, what phone are you currently using? Are you using a flagship? Are you using a flagship from a couple of years ago? Are you using a more budget phone? Feel free to let me know in the comments. I always enjoy reading those. If you want to help support the channel, then feel free to check out the Patreon. You can get wallpapers, bonus videos, and much more. Nevertheless, though, tons more videos coming for you guys soon. As for now, though, as always, thank you for watching. Remember to like the video if you want to see more content like this, then smash that subscribe button. I'm done for now, and I will see you guys in the next one.